not always follow ordinary paths. And all it takes for an individual to reach this exponential progression is to just change their perspective and environment. And while it's an honor to stand before you all and give this speech, I want to make it clear that the speech is not for me. Instead, I aim to represent every Bradshaw student that wants to make a change in this world. The fact is, everyone has a different path and different situations that can determine the way that they progress through life, which can also determine their self-perception relative to the community. At times, the American education system can fail to see this potential, as it has for me in previous years. So with that being said, I aim to represent the students at Bradshaw Mountain High School that want to change the world through the application of intelligence. As famous physicist Albert Einstein once said, "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we use, we created them." Lastly, I would like to thank my teachers that believed in me and pushed me harder than I thought I could go, specifically my AP research teacher, Ms. Leveron, and my AP Calc BC teacher, Ms. Young. I would also like to thank all of those who have supported me throughout the years, friends and family. And I hope that I can visit this community once again to speak. Thank you.
I was just going to say, if MIT doesn't work out, I think a motivational speaker is definitely in your future. Principal Dahl, come tell us the same thing every month about how amazing your students are. I can't get over it. You just have like a plethora of them over there.
Thank you, April. It's certainly true, and you guys don't hear me, but I say the same thing. I'm going to try to change it up. I love watching. I love watching the reactions of people, not just whether they chose U of A or ASU. I saw that. Good to know. But just listening to what they do and watching some reactions that I notice in our crowd, we're super proud of them, and it's so neat to be able to share just some of what goes on at our school. These are wonderful representatives. I want to say two things about each of them. Melody scored a 33 on the ACT. I don't know if you know how ridiculous that is, but that is wickedly ridiculous. You can write your ticket wherever you want to go. But she is equally passionate about other things. She organized or helped to organize a group who thought it very important to decorate their caps at graduation. She is very convincing, and I believe this will probably be the first group at Bradshaw Mountain High School to decorate their caps at graduation. Lucas applied to MIT, and they would certainly be lucky to have him. He also started a Model UN club on our campus and organized, he had it all set up. Some systematic things probably got in the way of, within probably 2 months of establishing a month, taking a trip to Harvard in Massachusetts. We're going to settle for ASU and hopefully U of A this year. But they are passionate, they're well-rounded. Not only academically are they ridiculously talented and hardworking, but they are great, great citizens of our community, both at the high school and in Prescott Valley. So certainly lucky to have them, and appreciate you guys taking the time to let us brag a little bit.
That's awesome. And optimist Mike Whiting, please.
Well, as I always say, the second week of the month, used to be the fourth week of the month, is my favorite meeting for the council, and it's great to have this opportunity. I think you'll all agree that it's hard to beat, I think, the students that we recognize every month. And it's just a shame we don't have more months in the year, but I know we have plenty, so I won't get into that. But I did see a little spark over here about U of A, and I am a U of A grad, so.
I felt it. My back was turned. I just
all right.
felt it right up.
And ASU is good too, you know. But we appreciate that you have a higher learning in mind and as a goal, and we appreciate that. The Optimist organization focuses, if you don't know, they're a civic organization, on youth programs, and Student of the Month has always been a focus of our group for many years. So we appreciate the town council and the council people to allow us to be here and recognize the youth of our community. And it's nice to see that these kids are coming from Prescott Valley, going to ASU and U of A, and then hopefully we'll make it back to Prescott Valley. But one of the things that we'll be giving them tonight is the Optimist Creed, and there's 10 different things in the creed. And one of those things that I think stands out here is what I'd like to talk about just for a minute, because you've heard it already in some of the words that they've mentioned, but to think only the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best. And obviously they've done all three. So that's why we appreciate when we see optimists see these type of academic students coming through our small community. We're very, very proud. So I wanted to say formally, Melody and Lucas, that we are recognizing you for, if you weren't sure, for your achievements and accomplishments in academics and possibly athletics as well. As personal involvement in school and in the community, we do appreciate that. You have demonstrated the responsibility necessary to maintain progress in your schoolwork and other personal goals. You are continually striving for success, as we've heard tonight, in all you do, and you're working to the best of your ability. Couldn't ask for more. Cream of the crop, but you can't beat it. So it's with sincere pleasure that I congratulate you on behalf of the Optimist Club, the town of Prescott Valley, and Bradshaw Mountain High School for Student of the Month in November. So congratulations. And what we'd like to do is give you a little memento, not a lot, but 2 certificates and 2 Optimist Creed plaques that hopefully you'll take with you in your schoolwork and when you come back to Prescott Valley. I'll just read what this says. Optimist Club, Yavapai County certifies to all that Lucas Partesay has been named November Student of the Month through Optimist International, Prescott Valley Town Council, and Bradshaw Mountain. So once again, shake your hand. If there are any parents here or relatives who'd like to stand up and shine for a minute, because they're a product of your guidance and help and support. So thank you. And that'll do it. Appreciate the time.
Next up, call the public. At this time, members of the public may comment on matters listed on the agenda or solely on matters within the jurisdiction of the town. Any persons wishing to address the council must register their name with the town clerk prior to the commencement of the meeting. The council's response is limited to responding to criticism, asking staff to review a matter commented upon, or asking that a matter be put on a future agenda. Such remarks shall be limited to 3 minutes unless additional time is granted by the mayor. Clerk?
Mr. Robert Gallion? Is that you, Mr. Robert Gallion? Oh.
Come on down, sir. You're just going to have to pull that microphone towards you.
I guess I'm at a loss. Just reading in the Courier about these proposed signs on Highway 69 and potentially on Glassford Hill Road. Nothing in the paper about cost. And my point, what I'd like to express is just my opinion is, hypothetically, well, again, I don't know what the costs are. Nothing was mentioned in the Courier, but fiscal responsibility, depending on what you read or listen to, the country is in recession or we're headed into a recession. I believe that the money, which I believe would be quite a lot for these signs, that it could be spent in better ways. Local police force, our schools, the YMCA is looking for money to, improve our community, the swimming pool. What else have I got here? Sorry, wasn't had time to memorize any of this, but fire department. So there's money to be spent on a lot of ways that would benefit our community. The signs, I'm not so sure is a good place to spend. If we need a new sign on the side of the road heading west on Highway 69, then certainly that's something that should be considered. The other point I'd like to make is, who are we trying to appease here? Are we trying to appease people who are potentially going to relocate here, or tourists, or should we spend the money on the people that live here? Prescott Valley has been known since the days of Ned Warren back in the early 70s. The land scandal, was in Life magazine and many publications. The secret is out. Prescott Valley is known to, many people, not just in Arizona, but in our nation. So, anyway, that's the point I'd like to make, being fiscally responsible, spending the money where it's needed, parks, police, schools, and maybe not wasting it on large illuminated signs that span Highway 69 and Glassford Hill Road. And that's about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Clerk?
This time, I would like to call Sandy Cordova.
Welcome, ma'am. You can pull it down and just face the council. That'll be better.
I'm Sandy Cordova. Thank you for the opportunity for speaking. The town council has begun a consultant study to recommend new water and sewer rates. I recommend that the town require that the new rates incorporate a tiered rate structure that promotes a much greater incentive for water users to conserve their water instead of continuing with the current rate structure. Here are my reasons. I looked at the 2021 annual report that Prescott Valley submitted to ADWR. It showed that the town is pumping almost 4 times the volume of groundwater that is replenishing to the aquifer, our sole source of water. What could the town do to reduce the excessive use of water by residents and other water users? Clearly, there must be a more conservative measure. Tiered water users, where water users who consume more water pay higher rates per gallon, are a proven approach that encourage water users to conserve. Unfortunately, with our current water use rates, residents that use large volumes of water pay little more per gallon than efficient water users pay per gallon. In Prescott, the highest volume users have 3 times the incentive to conserve than Prescott Valley's water users. Fortunately, Prescott Valley has just started a study to recommend new water and sewer rates. I strongly recommend that the town tell its consultants that the new rates could incorporate a much more aggressive tiered water rate structure. Here are my 3 questions. In 2021, Did Prescott Valley pump almost 4 times the volume of groundwater that it recharged? If not, what value of groundwater did the town pump, and what value of treated wastewater did it recharge? Is the town committed to the tiered water structure approach for encouraging water conservation? Will the town officials require the consultants to incorporate in their recommendations a tiered water rate structure that promotes a greater economic incentive for water users to conserve? Thank you.
Do you have any, was that it, ma'am? Were you all set?
That's it?
Okay. Did you give your phone number to the clerk?
No, I haven't.
If you would, please, we'll have someone from staff reach out. And
Okay, thank you.
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with what they have to tell you. Clerk?
Mr. Tom Chase.
Welcome, sir.
Afternoon. Went on 10 or 11 months. We are having progress on the road, and it's all on the county side right now. Started 3 weeks ago, tearing it up. Got all the asphalt up. One snafu is, well, there's two. They put a road closed sign up, nobody pays attention to it, they go through. So they've been having a Chino Valley cop out there for the last couple of days while they're working, because they're working in the center doing all the curbs down it. And they're making very nice high curbs to keep everybody in their lanes going down the road to the roundabouts. With all the traffic going down there, the first weekend was like being in the middle of Glamis in desert season because of all the dust and stuff that was coming down there. So Mary took care of that. Anyhow, they're moving along. Still not sure when they're going to start on our side as far as that, but I know in me walking down there and talking to a few of the neighbors that live on the county side, they'd like to see the speed bump stay. I'm just throwing it out there. I know down on my side, it's just temporary, experimental, but there are people that do like it. So the only suggestion would be placement of it. Also, with all of these big engineers and everything, maybe they could have moved stuff a couple of feet this way, a couple of feet that way, because people are going to be backing out of their driveways into the roundabout. I like the fact that they're small. One would fit perfect at Sunset and Prescott East Highway. Would be bigger than the existing ones that are going down there. But the neighbors do like the fact that now something is going on. They're seeing progress down there, waiting for it to come down on our end of the block. So pretty much everybody's for all of that. But like I said, I am hearing comments about keeping speed bumps. I think they worked okay, but they need to be asphalt. And where you place them along with the roundabouts, so people don't have to back out of their driveway or hurry up, make a sharp right turn to get in there. Anyhow, that's it. I'll let you off easy.
Thank you, sir. Clerk?
Misha Cleland.
Welcome, ma'am.
I guess mine is more of a featherweight issue. My name is Misha. I'm from Prescott. I'm born and raised in Prescott. So I'm sorry if I have to read this, and I'm going to read it quickly. In the December Town News issue that just came out on Monday, the mayor stated that the town council and staff are committed to updating town policies as well as current and future building development codes. I would submit to the council to revise the current code to allow for 6 to 10 chickens, specifically hens, per quarter-acre domestic lot, noting that roosters are not allowed within city limits, requiring the owner to provide humane and adequate living provisions, keep the chicken run and coop clean, and to keep them safely contained. This allowance would be more in alignment with the codes for the county, Chino Valley, and even Prescott. The current city code notes that poultry shall only be allowed on lots which are 1 acre or larger and shall be limited to 2 such animals per acre. So when driving through the town of Prescott Valley, within the city limits, there are not that many lots that are that size. Chickens are flock animals, and according to research, they need familiar companions to feel safe and perform normal, healthy activities. Having only 1 or 2 chickens does not provide a natural habitat and seems kind of mean. Research also indicates that on average, only 4 square feet per normal-sized hen is sufficient where they can be easily, compassionately, and safely kept on less than a half an acre. Quarter lots are approximately 10,890 square feet. If a house on that lot takes up 3,000 square feet and chickens only require 24 to 40 square feet, this still leaves approximately 7,800 square feet of property. Speaking of property, it may interest you to know that a common myth in chicken ownership is that it devalues the property. In actuality, research indicates that there is no documentation that exists indicating that backyard flock keeping lowers property value. Additional myths regarding chickens are that they are noisy or attract vermin. The clucking of a hen is no louder than a barking dog, a yowling cat, or an excited bird. Regarding vermin, it's noted that pet bowls, bird feeders, garbage, and compost bins are far more likely to attract them than a tidy chicken coop. Chickens do help with ridding yards of unwanted insects, spiders, scorpions, mosquitoes, snakes, and small rodents. Chickens can also help with children learning responsibilities, and according to Psychology Today, they can make good therapy pets because they cost much less than dogs and are not as overwhelming. Furthermore, allowing greater chicken ownership would provide additional inclusivity for children within the city limits to participate with 4-H groups. Local businesses sell chickens and advertise chickens for 4-H, so it seems duplicitous not to allow reasonable chicken ownership. Updating the code would also allow for additional revenue for these local businesses that would help put money back into our community.
How much more do you have, ma'am? Let's hear about the therapy chickens.
So as a single mom, with the current price increases and supply shortages, chicken ownership can help provide a little peace of mind for me, knowing that if grocery shelves are empty, that I can provide eggs and food for my family and my neighbors if needed. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. You are a first for coming in front of council to speak of chickens. Congratulations.
Hey, a homegrown chicken egg against a store-bought chicken egg?
Tom, you've already had your 3 minutes, so there's no more. No more from you.
19 seconds.
You're holding on to that 19 seconds, all right. So we're even now.
Yeah, almost.
All right.
There's no one else, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. A few more seconds, Tom? No? All right. Moving on, council communications. We'll start on the end with the newbie, Councilwoman Greer. We're starting with you for council communications. Do you have anything?
No.
Councilwoman?
Good evening, everyone. It is a pleasure to have so many people in our audience this evening, and a little intimidating as well. This evening, I wanted to share with you that the Yavapai Casa for Kids Foundation is having a Christmas toy drive that we all know about, and it is benefiting foster youth. And December 16th is the last day for donations, and we have a number of areas, drop-off locations here in Prescott Valley, and you can look up those on their website, YavapaiCasaForKids.org. And I think this is a wonderful organization, and I hope that they do well in this Christmas drive, toy drive. Also, this evening, I had an opportunity to meet a new resident of Prescott Valley. It's an axolotl, and it's called the King Banana. And this is a very interesting salamander that they have up in the second floor, the children's section of our library. And he has a sister, but apparently he can't share the quarters with the sister because he'll eat it. eater, and so he has to be a solitary salamander, but he's very interesting. And be sure and take a look at our new resident if you have an opportunity, and bring your kids as well.
Vice Mayor?
Hi, everybody. Merry Christmas. I want to congratulate Dave Grounds for investing in our community with Mulberry Farms. It's a new community over off of Bradshaw and 69. It's pretty amazing. It's a 55-plus community, but it looks like hometown Main Street with a lot of activities. So check that out. I also want to give major kudos to Casey and her staff and Gilbert for the Winter Spectacular. I've heard nothing but awesome things. I mean, people are coming up.
Did an incredible job. It was fantastic.
Thanking me for Winter Spectacular. Welcome Robbie Hool on the Chamber Board. We're glad you're here. And I want to say congratulations to County Attorney Sheila Polk. She's given a lot of heart to this county over the years. I want to give her kudos for her stance on illegal drugs, and I welcome the county's new appointee. Also, item 8E is 700, we're going to approve it under consent. It's 730 linear feet of trail that we're adding to the Viewpoint Park. This is one of many investments we've made on trails in our parks. I think we budgeted about $825,000 to improve trails and add to property values in the area. So I think things like this and even our entry signage that will come to us are very important for our community, not only for our residents, but for our visitors. And again, I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a healthy New Year.
Councilwoman Hepperly.
So I don't know if you guys know, but Prescott Kiwanis Club is 99 years old, and the Prescott Valley Kiwanis Club is 1 year old. So combined, they're 100 years old. So the Prescott Valley Kiwanis Club is brand new, still getting off the ground, but they are hitting the ground running and doing a lot of amazing things. And Councilwoman Dickinson and I are the two newest members. Apparently, they have never, I think in the history of Kiwanis, had new members sign up at an installation dinner. But, you know, Brenda and I, we break down walls and we don't let anyone stop us from joining new clubs. So they have a goal to get 5 new members by December 23rd and finish the year strong. So definitely you can check them out on Facebook or get information for Prescott Valley Kiwanis. So thank you.
Awesome. Manager's report, Mr. Davidson.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, so other than my excitement about U of A, a student going to U of A tonight, that was really awesome. Check there for a new U of A grad in the future. Couple things. We have the council report for this past month will be available next week, so we'll have that distributed to you and available to the public online. This is our last regular meeting for December. We do have 2 special meetings. One will be on December 19th and the other one on December 21st. And then starting in January, we'll be back with the regular schedule of a study session and 2 regular meetings. And then as with the Vice Mayor, just want to thank the staff for an incredible, inaugural event. From the planning of it to executing it that night, they did just a phenomenal job, and very, very proud of the work that they did. So thank you.
Thanks, sir. Moving on to consent agenda. All matters listed under consent agenda are considered routine by the town council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, the item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately for discussion. Council, we've all had a chance to review. If there's no item to be removed, I'll entertain a motion. Councilwoman.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I make a motion to approve all items listed under the consent agenda by electronic vote.
Vice Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to second the motion.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilmember Schumacher?
Yay.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you. Moving on to new business, item 9A, Vice Mayor appointment. Clerk?
Mr. Mayor, council members, we talked about this during our work study. We came up with a process for the appointment, but it looked like there was no other interest from any other council member to be vice mayor. Our code does say that we get to select a vice mayor at the same meeting that the mayor takes office. So that would be today.
Awesome. I'll make the motion. Motion to appoint or reappoint Vice Mayor Hunt to serve the capacity of Vice Mayor for the town of Prescott Valley.
I second it.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilmember Schumacher?
Yes.
A. That passes unanimously, Mayor.
If you guys are cold out there, we just adjusted the heat a little bit, just so you know that. Item 9B, new Series 7 liquor license, the Silo. Welcome, ma'am.
Good evening. So this application is for a Series 7 liquor license for Silo NLP Homes located at 12351 East Bradshaw Mountain Road. The notice for this hearing was posted at the location for 20 days, and our office did not receive any arguments for pro or con recommendation. And town staff is recommending that town council recommend approval of this application.
Thank you, ma'am. And as mentioned, this is a public hearing, so I'll open the public hearing. Clerk, we have any questions? Or, I'm sorry, council, we have any questions? Is there anyone out there in the audience who wishes to speak about this item? Doesn't appear to be, so are we closing the public hearing? Vice Mayor?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to recommend to the Arizona Department of Liquor approval of the application for Series 7 liquor license for Silo and LP Homes at 12351 Bradshaw Mountain Road by electronic vote.
I second it.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilmember Schumacher?
Yay.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Next up, item 9C, new Series 10 liquor license, Dave Fast Stop. This is also a public hearing. I'll open it up.
This application is for a Series 10 liquor license for Dave's Fast Shop located at 3993 North Robert Road. The notice for this hearing was also posted at the location for 20 days, and our office did not receive any arguments pro or con recommendation, and town staff is recommending that town council recommend approval of this application.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone else out in the audience who wishes to speak about this item? No? We'll close the public hearing. Council, if we don't have any questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, council, I make a motion to recommend to ADLL&C approval of the application for Series 10 liquor license for Dave's Fast Shop at 3933 North Robert Road by electronic vote.
We have a second.
I second it. Yeah, you need to say so in the mic. Oh,
Would you just please do?
I second it.
There you go.
Councilmember Schumacher?
Yay.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving on to item 9D, professional service agreement, PFAS Consulting and Design. Mr. Wadsworth, welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We did talk about this last week at work study. Would you like me to put the presentation back up or just skip it? Okay, we have before you a contract with Jacobs Engineering Group in the amount of $206,575 for addressing the PFAS issues in our water production wells and also potentially one in a groundwater injection well. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you at this time.
Great. And for those of you that have questions on this item, they can refer back to our work study meeting last week. It's on the website. Any additional questions for Mr. Wadsworth? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Councilwoman Hepperly.
I make a motion to approve a direct agreement with Jacobs Engineering Group, Inc. for PFAS consulting and design services in the amount of $206,575 by electronic vote.
We have a second.
I second it.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilmember Schumacher?
Yay.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Next up, item 9E, Mingus West Water Main Reimbursement Agreement. Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes, we may have talked about this one months and months ago, I believe, and I do have a map here if you'd like to see it. What this is, it's a reimbursement agreement with Ashdoorn. They are constructing phases 5 through 9 of the Mingus West subdivision, and where they're building lies directly over the top of existing water lines that the town owns and maintains. And as part of their work, we are asking them to upsize those water lines. These water lines are not needed for their part of the subdivision. They are going to be constructing additional lines and tanks for theirs, but this affects the existing Mingus West area plus the fairgrounds. And so we needed those water lines upsized. So since they're in there digging and so forth, we reached an agreement with them whereby they would essentially replace the existing lines, the size and the type. We asked them to upsize them and make them ductile iron instead, so we are paying the upsizing costs. So when they get to those portions of the subdivision, they will be doing that work. And it is expected that it would potentially be around $250,000, and that's what you're voting on tonight.
Great, thank you. Councilwoman?
So these are going to be connected to existing water lines that are already under houses on the older portion of Mingus West, correct?
So what's being replaced is shown in the shaded red area on the drawing. Those are the existing water lines that serve the existing Mingus West. Those lines will not tie into the new development that's going directly over the top of them. They are not needed for the new expansion of Mingus West because they're not in the same pressure zone. So they have to build lines in there to serve those properties, but they will be parallel to the existing lines that are there now.
So the agreement is to upsize the new lines?
No, to upsize the existing lines.
Okay. But, so is there going to be a connection where the upsized lines then have to go back down to the smaller size that's already under the existing neighborhood?
Yes, but at that location, those lines, there are parallel lines in there. So even though they're smaller lines in that area, all of the parallel lines together provide the capacity that we need within that area. It's just between the existing subdivision and the tank location where the lines need to be upsized.
Okay, so it's not going to cause a pressure issue or, I'm just thinking like a bit, I'm just thinking on a layman's terms. I don't have the we talked about this earlier today. I don't have your technical mind, but I'm just thinking water's going through a 10-inch pipe and then all of a sudden it has to go through a 6-inch pipe. So that's kind of how I'm envisioning it, but it has more dispersal at that connection?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, those are the water tanks.
Anything else for Mr. Wadsworth?
I do have another question, but it kind of is connected to the next item, so I'll wait. Because the next one is about 6, right? Yeah, okay, thank you.
All right, I'll entertain a motion. Councilman Dickinson.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I motion to approve the reimbursement agreement with Ashdoorn LLC for the Mingus West water main upsizing in the amount of $250,000 by electronic vote.
Vice Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilmember Schumacher?
Yay.
That passes unanimously,
Thank
Mayor.
you. Item 9F, FDP 21-014, Mingus West, Unit 6.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, this is a request by Ashdoorn LLC for a final development plan 21-014 for Mingus West, Unit 6. Excuse me, comprising 49 lots on approximately 39 acres. It's located at the intersection of State Route 89A and Fain Road. Previously, the council had approved a final development plan for Unit 5 and also approved a final development plan for one of the other units. The necessary public improvement plans and subdivision agreement for Unit 6 have been reviewed and approved by the council, your previous item, and I'd be glad to answer any questions if you have them.
Councilwoman.
So originally, when the final development plan for Unit 5 was approved, Unit 6 was on that. It was going to be that they were both going to be approved at the same time, and then 6 got pulled.
Right.
I think because of the water line.
Correct.
And that was just contractual or just a wording situation, or?
Yeah, as Mr. Wadsworth mentioned, there was some tweaks, if you will, that needed to be made to the agreement, and those have been finalized and have gone before you.
So what we have in front of us now is the same thing that was going to come before us back when the final development plan for Unit 5 was approved.
Yes, ma'am, final development plan is the same.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else for Mr. Ruby? I'll entertain a motion. Councilwoman?
Mr. Mayor, Council, I motion to authorize the mayor, or in his absence, the vice mayor, to sign resolution number 2022-2231, adopting final development plan FDP 21-014 by electronic vote.
Councilwoman?
I second it.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilmember Schumacher?
Yay.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Next up, item 9G, FDP 22-019, Granite Mountain Storage. Mr. Ruby?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, this is a request by Cedric Lawson for B&L Holdings for approval of final development plan for 23,000 square feet of storage facility consisting of 5 buildings, 82 self-storage units on 1.29 acres located at 9155 Florentine. The property is located in C3 pad zone. The traffic analysis indicates that we'll have minimal impacts on the roadway network. The requisite 10-foot wide street front landscape has been met, and I handed out to you previously an updated landscape plan, and we asked them to step it up, and they did. There's landscaping throughout the property and around the perimeter, so that was good. And we feel that this proposed use is consistent with the existing uses in the area and are recommending approval. Any questions? I'd be glad to answer.
Mr. Ruby, just confirming, the perimeter will be a block wall, and then interior will be all paved, is that correct?
That's correct.
So that we won't have gravel, it'll be all paved and block walled.
Correct.
That's all I care about. Anything else for Mr. Ruby? If not, I'll take a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the mayor to sign resolution number 2022-2287, adopting final development plan FDP 22-019 by electronic vote.
I'll second.
I think we should correct that to include that in parentheses, or in his absence, the vice mayor.
Can I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilmember Dickinson, thank you. That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving on to item 9H, FDP 22-014, Blazeland RV Storage. Mr. Ruby.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, this is a request by Brandon Couch for Blazeland RV Storage for approval of a final development plan for a 50-unit self-storage RV storage facility on approximately 2 acres located at 649 South Hendrickson within the Antelope Meadows Commercial Center. Traffic impact statement has been done and indicates there'll be minimal impacts. The applicant will be required to provide a future dry sewer stub out, and the landscaping design will be a variety of low water plant palettes with trees, shrubs, and ground cover pursuant to our code. I'd be glad to answer any questions you have.
Again, Mr. Ruby, same question as before. Block wall and paved all within?
I don't believe it's going to be a block wall, Mr. Mayor. I think it's a chain link fence and some wire fence as proposed.
Okay. What about the pavement all within?
Within the facility itself, there'll be a paved road around the loop. The interior will be decomposed granite, and the reason that the interior loop is not being developed, it's a financial reason for the applicant at this time. They have been told they'll have to come back and amend their final development plan if they want to do any development on that interior loop.
Council, do we have anything else before I say anything? One of the things, Mr. Ruby, is we require our businesses to have a hard surface, a concrete surface within for their parking. And if we're going to be parking RVs, decomposed granite's just not going to do it. So I'm going to make the motion that, with the exception that, or not, no exception, that we will have a paved interior throughout the entire project.
We will respond with that condition, sir.
So, is there anything else? If whoever makes the motion can add my additional condition, please. Vice Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the mayor or in his absence, the vice mayor to sign resolution number 2022-2288, adopting final development plan FDP 22-014, and add a condition that they pave the entire surface of the project with phase 1 by electronic vote.
I second it.
Clerk, please call the vote.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving on, item 9I, annexation, approximately 19.9 acres. Mr. Ruby.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. This annexation 22-001 is approximately 19-acre site located bordered by Glassford Hill Road, Long Look Drive, and Lone Cactus Drive. The blank petitions were filed with the county recorder on October 14th of this year to start the mandatory 30-day waiting period. The public hearing was held before you on November the 10th, within the last 10 days of the 30-day waiting period. And the signed petitions were filed with the county recorder on November 18th after the required 30-day waiting period. I can go into more detail if you'd like, or I'd be glad to answer any questions if you have them.
Council, have any additional questions for Mr. Ruby in regards to this? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to read ordinance number 915, annexing into the town approximately 19.9 acres, ANX 22-001, once by title only as an emergency measure, then place the same on final passage by electronic vote.
Mr. Mayor, second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ordinance number 2022-915, an ordinance of the mayor and common council of the town of Prescott Valley, a municipal corporation of Arizona, annexing thereto certain real property, ANX 22-001, containing approximately 866,844 square feet, lying in Section 10, Township 14 North, Range 1 West of the Gila and Salt River Meridian, Yavapai County, Arizona, classifying all the annexed property for zoning purposes as RCU 70, being consistent with the present Yavapai County zoning classification of RCU-2A, providing that the official town map and the town zoning map be appropriately amended, and that a copy of this ordinance along with a certified annexation map be recorded in the office of the Yavapai County Recorder, and declaring that this ordinance to be an emergency measure pursuant to ARS 19-142B and ARS 2-05-060 of the Prescott Valley Town Code.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 9J, comprehensive energy audit and analysis, HVAC purchase. Mr. Osborne, welcome, sir.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, because this was an emergency ordinance, we now have to vote on the emergency ordinance.
We're voting on this one.
Right, just as a reminder, when you do an emergency, you read first to do it as an emergency, you read it once, and then you finally, you do the vote in the same meeting.
All right. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to read ordinance number 915, annexing into the town approximately 19.9 acres, annexation 22-001, once by title only as an emergency measure, then place the same on final passage.
I caused this problem. You already did that.
I'm well aware of you causing this problem.
I caused this problem. You already did that, and so we've read it, and now the mayor just calls for the vote.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilmember Schumacher.
Yay.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. She's not reading it again, is she? She doesn't have to read it again, right? Okay, just making sure. All right.
Good job.
Oh, yes, correct. It was only the 19.9 acres that was annexed in. Moving on to item 9J, Mr. Osborne. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. We're moving forward with the amendment to the energy audit. It was presented last week at the work study, a quite extensive presentation. So we'd like to move forward and officially make this happen.
Yes, sir. And again, if anyone has any questions, they can review our work study from last week on how important this item is for basically the town to function if, in the event something goes wrong. Can I entertain a motion, please? Councilman?
Mr. Mayor, Council, I motion to approve an amendment with Schneider Electric Buildings Americas, Inc. to purchase HVAC units for both the Civic Center and Event Center in the total amount of not to exceed $1,080,000, parentheses, not to exceed $640,000 being the amount attributable to the Event Center units by electronic vote.
I second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Next up, item 9K, Land Use Assumption / Infrastructure Improvement Plan. Mr. Judy, welcome, sir.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I'll be brief. There's an audience member that's falling asleep, and we've been here since 4:30, so. This is also an item we've talked about a couple of times already. Lastly, on October 13th, we are going through the process to update our impact fees for the town. So as we've said before, we use impact fees for many projects attributable to growth. Some examples are the PD expansion, the Glassfree Hill Walnut expansion, and Bob Edwards Park. Changes from the public hearing, which we have implemented in this plan. We changed the growth, non-growth percentages for Agua Fria Park from 100% attributable to growth to 75-25. That will serve to reduce the fees on the park side somewhat. Next step in this process, you're not actually adopting any fees tonight, you're just adopting the land use assumptions and the infrastructure improvement plan tonight, if you so choose. The next step, on January 12th, we would hold a public hearing on the actual fees themselves. Vice Mayor, I know you had requested a look at other towns. We will have that information at that meeting when we're looking at rates. And then approximately a month later, on February 23rd, we would actually adopt those fees, and then they would be effective 75 days later. That I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Mr. Judy in regards to this? No, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2022 Combined Land Use Assumptions Infrastructure Improvement Plan plan document by electronic vote.
I second it.
Clerk, please call the vote. Thank you.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Now moving on to item 10, puts me in a quandary because I'm not used to being in this position right now. I need a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion. Oh,
No, Councilwoman Hepperly.
yeah, she put her name.
I was a little fast with the fingers. I make a motion to adjourn.
Can I have a second, please?
I second it.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Awesome.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for coming all out tonight. And if you guys want to stick around for some really exciting stuff, we have a CFD right after this. It's bound to be riveting.